Hello, and thank you for sharing a moment of your time with us. My name is David Hall. I'm founder of Cellular Health Innovations, or CHI. I'm the creator of Cellerciser, and I'm the inventor of the Cellerciser, the trifold Cellerciser, the triflex triple-tiered tapered spring, and the only mini trampoline with a carrying case that has its own built-in dolly. Chances are, if you're watching this, you're trying to decide what kind of a mini trampoline you want to invest in, and whether or not the Cellerciser is the one that's going to be right for you. Hopefully we'll be able to give you enough information that you can make an informed decision. But if you feel good about us, you feel good about our product, we want to welcome you to join the Cellerciser family. In the late 80s, I started in the industry, and virtually every unit on the market at that time was using a little tube spring like this. These little tube springs put all the weight on the two ends of the spring. They stretch only a little bit, and at the end of the stretch, they come to an abrupt stop or jar. The abrupt jarring effect is so severe, it can actually damage the person using it and break the spring. In 1995, my dad, attempting to do my exercises on a typical mini trampoline or rebounder, was permanently disabled within 1 month. It was the same year that Dr. Morton Walker came out with an article in the Townsend Letter for Doctors, warning doctors that the abrupt jarring effect was the same as landing on the floor. So, in the early 90s, I introduced a larger tapered spring design, and I began traveling all around this country and around the world, reigniting the mini trampoline industry by explaining the differences in a tapered spring design. With the tapered spring design, we have the largest diameter in the middle of the spring, so it's softer there. It would allow the person to gently decelerate and gradually accelerate again and create a pumping action, but without a jarring effect. I was offered half a dozen infomercial opportunities. But as part of those infomercial opportunities, I was asked to compromise the integrity of the product by creating cheaper materials so they could sell more units. And I told them it's not about how many units we sell. It's about how many people we help. And therefore, I've turned down the infomercials, and I've maintained the integrity and quality of our product. The steel that we use in our spring is not even on the market. The steel was so strong that it was destroying conventional spring molds. So we had to go to a tungsten steel mold just to be able to produce our spring. But the market began producing tapered spring designs. So there are lots of mini trampolines now using tapered spring designs. But if the steel in the spring is not strong enough, then you have a tendency to sink the moment you step on the unit and your feet start to pronate or turn in. If you land like that over a period of time, it can cause ankle problems, knee problems, and lower back problems. So we had to separate ourselves further from the industry and improve upon a spring that was already pretty good. So we introduced the triple-tiered tapered spring design. We're the only ones in the world that produce it. It is a patented spring. It has a larger diameter in the middle, and as it tapers, it actually has a ridge which focuses the weight toward the center of the spring first. So if you're 100 pounds and you only need to utilize the center portion of the spring, great. If you weigh more or you're jumping higher and you need more spring, then after the center portion starts to stretch, it graduates to the next ridge or the next tier. And it's the only self-adjusting type of spring in the world. And we're the ones who produce it. Now, if somebody else says that they have a triple-tiered tapered spring like that, don't believe them. This is a patented product. In addition, we don't advocate rubber bands or bungee cords. Let me explain why, especially with our exercise program. Bungee cords or any rubber bands, as they warm up, they get softer and softer and softer. And feet have a tendency not to be very well supported, so they can pronate more and more. Doing our exercises on a typical unit that uses rubber bands, basically, your foot can roll on you because it doesn't have enough support. So for exercise purposes, in what we teach in our program and have been teaching for 20 years, we recommend steel. Now, there have been people who've said, well, steel squeaks. Well, you're right. If steel rubs against steel, it can squeak. What do we do for a swing set or for a door jamb if it squeaks? We put a drop of oil there, right? And the squeaking goes away. This is the same thing with the Cellerciser. It's very easy, and we're going to demonstrate how easy it is to avoid squeaking on our Cellerciser. You just put a drop of oil at the end of each spring where it rubs or it connects, and the squeaking goes away. Telling you a little bit more about our unit. We don't use typical rubber tips like typical Rebounders do. This is a unit that was over $200, and this is our unit. The rubber tip here did not hold up too well. The rubber tip on ours has been out in the same weather conditions that this one has. And you'll notice it's still pliable. It's an old tip, but it holds up. We have never had to replace one of these because it wore out. And we've designed the Cellerciser so it can last a lifetime. That's what we want it to do. In addition, we don't just powder coat our steel, we electroplate it. Powder coating can flake off. When you electroplate the steel with paint, the paint actually adheres into the metal itself to protect it. So it costs us a little bit more, but we do that because we want you to have the best unit available. And if you want to leave it out in the sun, the rain, the snow, we want it to be able to resist the elements. In addition, our mat material is the best out there. In fact, it's made here in the United States. It's a polypropylene where every fiber is put under nearly 200 tons of pressure. It is so incredibly dense that they make swimming pool covers out of it now because it's UV resistant. You leave it out in the sun, the rain, the snow. It's weather resistant. But the reason I use it is that it supports your foot. So as you're moving up and down on the Cellerciser, that mat material doesn't stretch with the spring. If the mat material itself was stretching, then your foot wouldn't receive the support that it needed. And you can generally tell on units where they use a canvas, non-plastic, or similar looking material, if you're jumping at an angle, it'll have a tendency to throw you off. When you Cellercise, if you're at an angle, it just lifts you straight out. It's the best support material that we've been able to find. In addition, our welding, we don't do hand welding. Hand welding, often you do a little weld, you stop, weld, stop, weld, stop. You have cold spots, what are called cold spots within the weld, and that's where the weld has weaknesses and where it can actually compromise the integrity of the frame or the structure itself. We use a robotic welding system. It creates an even bead of weld all the way around. Yes, it costs more, but it gives you a better, stronger unit. Our costs have tripled in the last several years, and we have not raised our prices, which means that we're not making as much. But it was never about how much money we can make. Our customer base has also tripled, more than tripled. We have customers now all over the world and they're sharing our product with other customers. So we continue to grow. It's about helping you, not just about how many units we sell. So we'll continue to keep our price where it's at as long as we can, although we're going to have to start to include shipping because shipping costs are just ridiculous. But it's the best unit out there. But more than the quality of the unit is what can you accomplish with it? What can you achieve with it? We here at Cellular Health Innovations have a support program that we are making available. And in that support program, it's a kind of a subscription program that will allow you to have access to free DVDs and free exercise programs. And these exercise programs, we're not going to charge you money for. You get the Cellerciser and you share it with other people. There's a world of billions of people, and everybody should be on this. Everybody. I don't care if you're a senior citizen, if you're a health practitioner, a doctor, an athlete, or, women, children. There are different approaches you can take on the Cellerciser so that you can receive enormous benefits. This is the only exercise I do. I do it 10 minutes a day. When I first began, I had a double chin and belly, and I was 5'10" and a half. I'm now 5'11" and a quarter. I don't lift weights. I do a 10-minute-a-day routine. I do it on the Cellerciser. I hope to do it for the rest of my life. We have customers that are toddlers, infants, people that are, balance has really little or nothing to do with age. We're not born with it. So children get on it and they start to improve their balance coordination very quickly, and so do senior citizens. Look at our website. Take a look at some of the different programs that we have to offer. If you have any questions at all, we're open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, Mountain Standard Time. Give us a call. If you'd like to talk to me, you can call and talk to me. Again, our objective is to produce the very best unit, but more than that, is to help you get results. Thank you for sharing your time with us. We hope you'll consider joining the Cellerciser family. Have a great day.